This is comic. Wait, no, it isn't.
It's
That's
that
your
muscle memory
deal,
taking
man.
over for you.
Yeah, I know. It sure is. So what's going on, everyone? This is we're recording. Okay, so this will be published later, but this is Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Not that it means anything. I went to the store and I was looking for some crumble blue cheese to throw into my blue cheese dressing, and I was like, and all the it's in the deli section. They print up the labels, and they're on the bottom. And I
Hmm.
flip this one over, and I'm like, oh, it's satanic cheese. It says $6.66
Nice.
on Friday the
Uh,
13th. Yeah.
that's crazy.
So that's
Did it
what
open
I'm
up a
doing.
portal to hell in your salad?
Well, I didn't buy it. So
Well, I guess
if
we're
it
never going to
Is
know
that
then,
a,
are we?
someone's gonna figure it out, but I'm not gonna buy it on Friday the 13th. That stuff can go moldy. Oh, it is mold already.
is that is that cursed food that Satan leaves behind, like when Homer ate that forbidden donut?
Yeah. Or you could say it's like remember that Simpsons the Treehouse of Horror where he goes to the shop to buy that Krusty doll,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, I also sell Frogurt. It's frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
He talks about like he's all you get just a
the
free
yogurt.
topping.
The
He's all
yogurt
that's
is
good.
also
Good.
He's
cursed,
all
and I'm
but
like,
the toppings are cursed.
yeah.
He's like that's bad.
Yeah, then he says at the end, like, what? Like, and they also contain monosodium glutamate and such and such and such. And Homer's like, just gives him this blank stare. And the guy's like, that's bad.
That's bad.
Can I go now? Yeah, love that show. It's still classic, man. I've been it's one of those shows, sometimes some people have like those shows they kind of play in the background, like sit down, chill for a watch for a bit, but then still go like, all right, gotta handle chores and whatnot. Like I've been doing that with The Simpsons, and the more I watch it, the more I just realize how deeply funny that show is, man. I mean, we can all say that we were there from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching classic Doctor Who because it's streaming
Nice.
on like this thing, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, trying to do my work because I work from home, and I've got like classic Doctor Who just streaming in the background. I'm like, oh yeah, I
I mean, it's like
forgot
you're
something.
still watching classic Doctor Who because
That's right,
you, yeah.
Hmm.
I am. So and so the fourth Doctor, I forgot that his companion, one of his companions for a bit was Leela.
Leela, you talking Leela from Futurama?
Well, she's named after him. That's the same. It's the that Leela from Futurama is named
Hmm.
after that companion from the Fourth Doctor. So
Oh,
yeah,
They both have one
oh,
eye.
no, but it's funny because like usually, um, it's either he picks up like humans from like they're kind of like in the future, so a little bit more advanced, or they're from like the quote unquote present time, things like that.
hmm.
Usually, I think in the modern series, it's always been like like present time people, right? Like it's like our timeline, currently. But Leela is like from this other planet, like, and she's just like her answer to everything. She draws her knife. She's like, "I'll protect you, Doctor. I'm just gonna kill this thing for you." She's just like,
I
"Oh, you're gonna protect me?"
I see.
can, I,
So
can get,
so she's
I can
like
get
that
behind that line of
character.
thinking.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious, actually. And they're cheesy effects, but I'm okay with cheesy effects. By the way, I think cheesy effects just show how creative and how well creative you had to be. Like back then, like sometimes they couldn't even like animate laser effects. It was just a light at the end of a gun or something like that, and then hey, uh, not everyone can be Lucasfilm,
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not sure about the old school Doctor Who's, but I did enjoy, the ones with what's his name, Chris Eccles,
Yeah,
Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston,
Eccleston.
Matt Smith is
Yeah.
pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I also liked what do you call it?
David Tennant.
David Tennant. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, Scrooge McDuck.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's cool stuff. But yeah, yeah, that, and I've been catching some hockey here and there because it's the NHL playoffs, and that's the other thing I've been watching. So
Cool.
it's not. It's getting violent anyway. um, I
Is
have
it?
my favorites. I have my favorites. But and the Ducks, I think, are pretty much out. Anaheim's pretty much out. So, but they're still, you know, they're still
Plenty
fun
of
to be watched.
still a lot, plenty of action to go on.
Yep. Yes. Yep. hmm
Yeah.
Plenty. Plenty. So it's fun to watch. I mean, how often can you say, you know, hey, here's a sport where you not only have to learn how to ice skate, you got to hit a little tiny, you know, rubber puck about yay big, no
Hmm.
bigger than a compact disc, a little bit thicker, of course, and get it into a goal. it's just, it's just crazy. Oh yeah, and fights are not really sanctioned, but people in fights and stuff like that.
Got to learn how to fight too.
It's part of the charm.
Yeah, you do got to learn how to fight. I remember, like back in the NES days, me and my friend, we used to play like original NES. We used to play like I forget which hockey it was, but like,
Blades of Steel.
and then you could like, and you get in a little fight and have a little meter.
Yep.
You
We
remember?
we used to like I love that game. I love that game, period. But then yeah, like you said, there just came a point where like everybody started just playing it just to get in a fight. Because you tell your friend like, hey, like meet me over here, let's queue up and get in a fight. And then that's what you play. And it was like it was kind of like pre-fighting games, before like they were able to come to home console. And yeah, man, I mean, yeah, I loved Blades of Steel.
Okay, I didn't get into Blades of Steel, but I did play like NES hockey, the one with like the short guy, the middle guy, and the fat guy. And you
Hmm.
could get in fights there too, but it would just be like these cartoon fights where like once you started like raising sticks at each other, like then everyone else would just like dive in, and then the ref would like once then ref would come in and like pull one of your players out and just send them to the penalty box for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, old school Nintendo, dude. Like that is still fun stuff. Actually, my buddy gave me this little device called um a Miyu Mini. That's MIYOO, and it's like a little handheld, Linux device playing handheld games on there.
Ooh,
And I got like he put on there initially the OS, which I think is like called Onion or something like that. But it's got everything from like original Atari to PS1. That's like the last era of console games I have on there, and of course arcade games. So I've been going back and playing like old school Nintendo games, like for whatever reason, Friday the 13th. And I'm not saying that because it is Friday the 13th. I just remember as a kid that game used to scare me, and I used to hate it because I could never beat Jason out. Anytime I run into Jason like one time, I'm dead. I could never
yeah.
get far in that game. And then as I got older, understand the concept more and start playing it, I just realized, yeah, man, this game just sucked. but like I still want to see how far I can get now that like okay, I have a better understanding of that concept. But I was like, yeah, man, this game sucks. But Nintendo had so many games on that console back in the day. Like you found enjoyment in like a lot of different games, but there were those like really shitty ones, but those real hardcore gems like DuckTales and Zelda.
You played the shit like Final Fantasy, like sorry, like Friday the 13th, because you really couldn't get a if you couldn't just like go out and buy a new one. I mean, like games are
True.
expensive. You had to like, yet once you got a game for yourself, you had to, like wring every bit of enjoyment you had out of it. You could get out
Yeah.
of it.
And you know, again, I've been watching The Simpsons a lot, and I don't mean to make all these Simpsons references, but that reminds me of that episode where Bart like stole Bone Storm from the Save and Ride or Write and Save, whatever that place was called, and he got like busted by the security guard, and then of course, he got caught by his family and brought shame to the family. But then once he redeemed himself, Marge gave him was it was it Lee Tremano's golf or whatever like that, and
Yep.
I was like, yeah, that game is boring as shit. Like, hit left to upswing, and so yeah, you're right. Like sometimes you would kind of get those games from Christmas, from relatives or your immediate family, and it's like that's all you had to play. And I think as we've gotten older, and of course, uh, a little disposable income, like we have the luxury of like picking and choosing like what we want to play, and even the back catalog, like going back and playing retro games we never had the opportunity to pick up and play.
Hmm.
Yep. So
So
what
it's
have you
cool.
guys been watching lately? Anything fun that's you can't spoil? Anything old? I just told you guys I was watching old Doctor Who.
Watched
It's
the first
got to
two
be.
episodes of Ash versus the Evil Dead last week.
How is that?
It was like those first two were pretty fun. I mean, like I just saw Doctor Strange, so I was feeling the need to continue like seeing Sam Raimi abuse Bruce Campbell some more. So yeah, so I mean, like it's a good start. I mean, it's like I can't say I was compelled to like sit there and keep watching them like throughout the rest of the day, but I was entertained. I'll probably come back to it. I mean, it's just fun seeing Bruce Campbell like just do his thing, just go and be Ash. It's like for an extended period like this.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. That's true. Um, yeah. So, what else have I been watching? No, I haven't rewatched Yakitate in Japan anymore. So, I mean, I'm pretty much not that I'm done with it, but I appreciate that it can be streaming like once a week everywhere. But like I said, I was trying to catch up on some old Doctor Who stories. You know, the Daleks are essentially Nazis, right? You guys know that, right? Anyway,
Hmm.
just so anyway, so yeah. Outside of that, yeah, it's kind of an interesting week. I've been playing around with my Raspberry Pis and stuff like that, and I, you know what? It's funny. I've been putting this project off. Speaking of emulators, I've been putting off this Raspberry Pi 4 project where I have the RetroPie on here.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have as part of the default um, Raspberry installers, you can actually choose. There is another one called Recall Box, um, and that's a different one. Recalbox. So it's another emulator that you can install. And there's another one called Laka, which I have no idea why. But anyway, I'm
Okay.
gonna try testing those out as well. So I plugged everything in. I was like, cool. I'm gonna, well, I already kind of had everything plugged into this little box, right? I had, the Raspberry port, the Raspberry 4 8 GB model, which I found out is still in stupid short supply. Like
Yeah, I've been looking for one.
it's hard to find. Like Micro Center is probably your best bet. I would
Really.
just go down there and then ask them and then say, hey, can I pre-order it from you guys or something? I think chip shortages are still impacting the production of this thing
Yeah.
because the one website I saw, like, it didn't have a pre-order open until like I don't know, like I didn't even think they had one open for just the straight board. If you wanted to buy a kit, you could probably get it as late as August or September of this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, but I don't want to buy a kit. But I digress. So everything was plugged in, turned it on, nothing happened. I'm like, no,
Mm.
crap. So I took the whole thing apart and I was like, okay, well, let me just get the old troubleshooting technique. I get the board out, just plug in the basics, turn it on, and it fires up just fine. So I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with the board. Thank God. So, yeah, so that's as far as I got. So I know that everything's working with the board, and I was testing that out. But I'm gonna test out the different. I'm gonna have I'm gonna test out all three of these emulator consoles in here, and see which one I like best. But here's the other thing I found out is like micro SD cards. They're, I mean, this must be the thing that like just doesn't stop dropping in price. So I bought
No.
this 128 gig micro SD card off of Amazon for like $15. I was like,
Oh.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
$15, like that's pretty cheap. So, but it is just straight up RAM, so it's essentially
Yeah.
all it is, you know. So, but yeah, so more to come on that, and I'm gonna install these emulators, and I do have my 8-bit DOE adapter, so I'm gonna plug that in there, and then I'm going to, you know, I'll be able to use my controller with it. So. This is kind of a genius little USB dongle that allows you to use the 8-bit DOE controllers with almost anything. So fun
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Fun stuff.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
always
is my report. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've done this week. So
yeah, it's always good to have those little mini retro consoles on hand because I mean, yeah, you might not play everything, but every now and then it's like, oh man, Burger Time was dope. I feel like playing Burger Time, and then you have it right there.
Let's see.
yeah,
Like, you know,
exactly.
I've got my Steam backlog to go through. But that didn't stop me from buying a new game,
Which you get?
Rogue Legacy 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's like I love the first one when it came out. It seems like almost 8 years ago now, but it was it's like it was fun. It's like it was just like fun roguelike that just had me like even though like I was kind of terrible at it. It's demanding of you. It's like you play this person who just keeps dying. This like person who dies tries to conquer all the bosses in this one castle, and the layout changes every time you. It's like you go die because like whenever you die, you come back as your descendant. Castle changes, and in the meantime, you buy upgrades using the gold you got from between trips.
Hmm.
The sequel, it's especially one of those sequels where it's just like the first game, only more so. And they just, I was like, this is good at making you feel like, hey, this is like everything I liked about the first game. It's like only better. I mean, like graphics are better. It's like the system's more interesting. It's like the abilities you get are are really fun as well. It's like it's so far it's really gotten me it's like invested, even though it's like I am just so reckless in my gameplay style that according to Steve, I'm very fun to watch, but in terms of actual, beating, like I'm beating all the bosses in the castle, that's gonna take me like a real long time to get through. But if you want to see some quality pants on head action, then you just gotta like watch me play whenever I'm on Steam sometime.
All right.
Sounds fun.
Hmm.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't been able to game out lately just yet, as much as I want to, but yeah, what should we call it? Horizon, Forbidden West was the last like game I was playing like real hardcore. I'd like to get back on that. The only thing I've been consistently on is that new Kirby. I finally beat that. That was just fun to pick up and play. Just play a round or two, like in a world, and call it a wrap. So fun, easy, relaxing game.
And
And
is the ending as insane as I've been hearing?
uh, I haven't. Well, I beat like the main campaign, but there's post game content, and I'm working on
Ah,
that. And
okay.
that's how you get like the true ending. And there's just so much more to like go back and play after you beat the game. So like yeah, the last boss, was freaking crazy. But I mean it's Kirby, so shit is easy, you know. But this year marks Kirby's 30th anniversary. So I was like, man, this is a good game to bring out in that time.
Yeah.
So
And he got to eat a car.
and
That's like
yep, he got to eat a car and many other things. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
hard to imagine a better birthday present than that.
exactly. So, but yeah, just been playing those two. I mean, kind of like you too. Sometimes I just get a game, especially if it's on sale, and like yeah, I'll come back and pick it up later. But I actually do want to get back on Uncharted because I recently saw that movie and was thoroughly entertained. And so I was like, dude, I need to get back on Uncharted. So I might start
Wait,
that like
which
later
one?
tonight. The first one, very starting from the
Ah,
beginning
okay.
starting from the beginning and play it all through. Because I haven't like played those Uncharted games like 1 and 2 and 3 since they came out on the PS3.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you got the whole like no, I don't want to say Legacy of Thieves because that's the term they're given for like the Uncharted 4 bundle on PS5.
Yeah, I
But
got that too. I got the Uncharted bundle and the Legacy collection.
okay,
All 5 games under one roof,
nice.
and just try to plow through them all. Because those games are kind of cool too, where I could play like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes and make some progress. But when I get addicted, it's like, yeah, I might play for like an hour or two. But yeah, I mean, the movie was fun too. Kind of gave me some vibes of National Treasure. So yeah, I liked it. But other than that, man, it's just been work, work, work. Absorbing a new job, earning that sip of beer on the weekends. But so far it's been cool. But
Do they
yeah,
still
some
say it's Miller time?
no, dude, no, I don't think anybody knows what Miller is anymore. I hear all about these drinks like seltzer type drinks and shit, or Bud Zero. So right now I'm sipping on classic Sapporo. So um, but yeah, no, nobody says Miller time anymore because they're like, what's that? That's like an old man's beer. I'm like, oh.
That's like an old
I was
man's
like
beer.
that's the beer fathers let their kids take a little sip, when mom's not looking. That's that type of beer.
That's why you switch to whiskey.
Yeah, yeah. So I get pissed off when I can't find like I love Michelob Amberbach, and I remember back in the day like Michelob used to have like a beer. I do like Michelob Ultra here and there, but I miss Michelob being beer, and Amber Bach is the only one left that I can actually say, yeah, I love Michelob, but I can only find it typically at Stater Brothers. So thank God they
Oh,
still have them in steady stock, but I don't see them as flourishing around at other grocery stores.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny because when I was watching hockey on Hulu Plus or ESPN Plus or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they would cut in for the commercial, and you know what their number one commercial is?
Michelob
It's the
Ultra.
Jägermeister commercial with Post Malone.
What?
Well, it's like two of them. Yeah, and it was
Damn.
just like every break that thing. Like there was two of them, and they would just play, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself. Anyway, do you know who Post Malone is?
He's a
Yeah,
rapper.
I have some of his albums.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it was like, it was cool the first time I saw it, and it was like, holy cow. Now I'm getting sick of it. Um, but
Yeah, like
it
like
was
when
kind
he
of cool. I mean, like, like the first commercial I like better than the second commercial, but like, I got sick of the commercials. Yeah. So anyway.
and see like that's one thing I hate about like commercials on streaming services. They show the same ones like all the damn time. And
Yeah.
you remember when we grew up watching television? It's like you see like a wide variety of commercials. And depending on how long of a block of television, of course, you're going to see duplicates like Larry H. Parker or freaking, McDonald's ad or something. Of course, you're going to see like duplicates, but then it's like every time on a streaming service, every time it goes to commercial break, it's the same two set of commercials per break. Maybe there's a third one sometimes, but I just get tired of it. But at the same time, that's how they sucker you into like the non-commercial tier pricing.
Well, see, here's the thing. So, like with everything else on Hulu Plus, well, okay, so technically this is like ESPN Plus feeds in Hulu Plus. You can
Mhm.
watch well, I have the bundle now because I
Yeah,
told you guys for years I would do it, and I did.
I got that bundle. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I got the commercial free version of Hulu Plus. The only place it doesn't count was with live games or games like that. That's where it doesn't count. It only counts towards like the television and the movies that you watch on there.
I
The
see.
rest of it is like the games. Yeah, they just throw the commercials in there. I'm like, oh, I'm sick of this.
Little
So
It's those sponsorships.
Yeah, so it kind of drives me nuts. I'm just going to double check anyway, but I'm pretty sure that it's just because of the games, because nothing else does it. None of the TV shows do that.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
yeah, and it's like, okay, all right, I get it. Well, because in games there, like, you have like intermission, like there's intermissions, there's breaks, there's like natural breaks in games, right? So
Timeouts.
yeah, I mean, and I'm not talking about like, in between, well, in this case, like between periods and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I mean, this is not football. It's not like a halftime show or something like that.
Right. No.
So it's just like, that and that and that, and then they'll have their own like in between the period shows and stuff like that. But then there's just like all this other. It's built in. Sports are just kind of built for commercials. Let's face it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like when I watch basketball, dude, it's just like, yeah, call a timeout, show a quick Toyota commercial, and then come back.
yep, exactly. So yeah, just to clarify that. But Jägermeister, yeah, I like Jägermeister.
I didn't know Jägermeister was still hot.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I prefer the whiskey still, Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going to be picking up some whiskey when I visit soon. So, anyway, just saying that. From the Bat Cave where I do sit over to the alternate location where everyone else is. So,
I see.
yeah, so because where I sit, they don't sell certain liquors here, at least not at the Costco. So
Are you serious?
yeah, so there's some weird laws here. It's not weird really, but it's more like yeah, I'll have to explain it to you later. But it's kind of weird in certain states, and it has nothing to do with like, oh well, liquor is a bad thing. It's about protecting the industries that exist in these states.
Mm.
So like Tennessee and Kentucky and
Mm.
Texas, like they brew, like they distill, their hard out, like, whiskey and bourbon
Yeah.
and all that other stuff
Yeah.
and tequila. Um, so there are some weird laws protecting them from like you hop down to Stater Brothers, and this may not make sense to some people who don't live in California where there isn't any Stater Brothers, but you go to like maybe Ralph's or Kroger,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like the Kroger brand of vodka, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not allowed in these states.
Mm.
So
Oh,
they
okay.
can't produce like their generic version of it, and this goes to stores like Walmart or Sam's Club or Costco.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's only on the hard liquor. So, and mind you, they're like, and you might know this because you've been on the East Coast. Like some states, you can't buy hard. You got to go to like a state store to buy hard liquor or any liquor at all or any alcohol at all. Utah's like this.
Mm.
It's a weird thing. Why does it matter? um, you got to be aware of those things, right? I think in Utah, yeah, you have to go to the state. You have to go to this. Is it a state-run liquor store or I don't know. I don't know how they do this stuff. Quite frankly,
That's
for all I
crazy.
know, it's kind of like having like the dispensaries, for marijuana, and then they tax it and stuff like that. You don't know. Rando. Anytime I talk about something that's just off the wall, I'm just going to end it with rando.
Rando. I'm gonna end it with the more you know, with the ding ding ding, the star.
The more you know.
You're spitting facts. As
I am
Dropping
useless
knowledge
ass
bombs on us.
Facts.
you're
Yes.
spitting facts.
Uh,
Just
Yep.
just like I feel like we're in a second pandemic because of gas prices. Like it's a pandemic on the wallets. Like,
yeah.
I'm like,
Oh.
damn, dude. Like, thank God. Like, I mean, I'm personally been going into work like once a week, and it's not a bad commute, but it's a hella commute. But thank God it's flexible to where like, oh, I mean, you could, I mean, you could just, work from home, like, of course, come in like when those times or needs to come in needs to happen. But for the most part, yeah, we could work from home. So it's nice being able to save on gas and and I guess eating out. It's good to save on that, and maybe that's why I've been bringing in random ass anime Blu-rays too. Like, oh, got a little more money. Let me get this Megazone 23, and then I ordered Castlevania, the anime series, because it's like cheap and it was dope. So it's nice being able to save that money because shit, it's and pardon my French, but it's just like, man, every time I gotta fill up, dude. I gotta make sure, I put at least $50 in there to like get me through the week.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I'm gonna start distilling my own gas soon. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, hey, let's bootleg that shit.
What are you doing with that still? No, I just need to I need to put gas in my tank. Oh, okay, that's okay.
That reminds me of that episode of American Dad when uh Roger went up in the mountains to uh learn how to distill like the best moonshine ever. His name was like Bob Todd or whatever. And do you remember that episode? Any of you?
Uh no, I don't think I do.
It was
I'll
that
have to. I'm gonna have to. But after you talk about this, I'm gonna have to just rewatch it anyway tonight.
it, it was that episode where the Smiths had their first beef with Santa Claus because Steve like accidentally
Oh,
accidentally shot up Santa Claus, and like
yeah,
that was like the main story, and then
yeah.
the side story was like Roger heard legend that this guy can make like the best moonshine ever, and he lives up in the Appalachian Mountains somewhere, and he finds him and like starts senseiing after this, and he's like, in order to pass my test, you got you got to do this, and he takes a
Mm.
sip of that whiskey and starts tripping, just tripping out, and and it gives you that image of the Donkey Kong level because it's like you got to make it to the to the tillery if you want to and save the maiden if you want to learn my recipe. So he goes up the railings with the pinka pinka bonk pinka pinka bonk breeny breeny like just like the game, and it just has me dying, dude. And it's like, yeah, that that's what that reminded me of. Funny series, and it's still going on apparently.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Wait, what's the funny series? American
American,
Dads?
yeah,
It's still going on? I thought.
yep.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's on TBS.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
All
so
right, just
I'll
double checking.
usually because I don't have cable, so eventually I'll see it posted up on Voodoo for sale, and I just been
Okay.
buying the season, and
Oh,
it's gotten like so much like much more I don't want to say raunchier, but just like more
edgier,
raw with its
raw.
comedy because it's on TBS, so they can kind of get away with certain words and everything. So like it's man, it's still hilarious, dude. I love it.
Yeah. Oh man, thanks. Then I was like, because they used to have it on Hulu, and then they just I don't know if it's still even on there, but they don't like they just stopped putting it on Hulu like any new stuff, right?
No, they put it up like super late, dude. Like they're
Mm.
like do you remember at all like Haley's husband Jeff
Yeah.
when
Oh wait.
when Roger's people were coming to pick him back up, he didn't want to leave Earth, so he pushed Jeff in the way.
Yes, I
And he
remember
got
that.
kidnapped by aliens, and he was held hostage with Sinbad.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember this.
and there was like a period where like yeah, Jeff was quote unquote gone and Haley was single. Like, did you even know that Jeff came back and there was like a whole like they could kind of continued that storyline?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do remember that. I did see that, and I think I saw that on Hulu actually. Um, I think.
yeah. Because on Hulu they have like I think the last season because like it'll come out on Hulu like almost a year and a half, feels like almost 2 years later. Because then like
Wow.
once the season's over, I'll see it up on Vudu like a few months later, and then I'll buy it off there because it doesn't come on streaming quick enough.
Mm. Well, then I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'll have to pick it up myself. So, all
Yeah,
right.
because I usually wait till it's on sale for like 20 bucks or $15, and I bought like the past couple episodes, and man, there's been some funny episodes with Francine and Jeff Haley's husband Jeff. Like they become like besties later on in the series because they're the quote unquote housewives. So they bond and they get into some like crazy adventures like later on in the series. I'm like, man, like I love that. I love that this show is still going on. Like even though it wasn't like I guess quote unquote pulling the numbers like Family Guy or Simpsons was on
Mhm.
Fox, I thought it was the better show of like the main two.
Yep.
Um, I still love I still love Family Guy, but I feel like American Dad's episodes aren't. I mean, they're consistent and they're consistently funny to me. There's some
Mhm.
episodes of Family Guy that I'm like, scattered throughout the season. It's like, this episode's like whatever. All right, I don't really care about this episode, but I don't really say that about American Dad.
Yeah, I did enjoy the episode. I know that of course, Adam West passed away, and then
Yeah.
like they reflected that in the show, and
Hmm.
and and who replaced him? The cowboy guy, and
Yeah.
yeah,
That
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 was
was
hilarious.
damn. What's his name? Sam. Crap.
Sam Elliott.
Thank you. Sam Elliott replaced him because he was he's Mayor West's brother.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be
and
Mayor West's brother.
and Stan goes to the ranch, and there's a bunch of little mustaches. Like,
Oh no, that's that that's
oh, go ahead.
family. That's
Oh,
Family Guy
that.
you're thinking about.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
Hmm.
Whoops.
No,
I
same
got it. I
same
got my shows crossed.
same creator, but yeah, like
Yeah.
he's the mayor of Quahog now.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Hmm.
Whoops. Got got my uh got my shows crossed.
But
It's
see
easy to
those,
do.
but Family Guy is like consistently like that's one reason why like I still subscribe to Hulu because like you get those shows like a day after.
Hmm.
So like The Simpsons and Family Guy, they air Sunday and you're able to watch it Monday. So that's kind of like the only way I kind of keep in touch with quote unquote uh live or real time television series.
Yeah. Yep. And not to mention Hulu has a whole bunch of old classic stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Like if you want a good laugh, just go to Cheers. I
You
mean,
know, you know what? There was a period where I was going back and watching, and I think I talked to you about it, where I was going back and watching all these old ass shows that
yeah.
I grew up with, but never really appreciated it because I was a kid and I didn't really care. I just knew of its cultural, you know, uh, pop cultural, impact in the genre. But
Yeah.
man, I go back and watch Cheers as an adult, and then I think I watched Taxi, and I was like, man, these are some good ass shows. Um,
Yeah.
really funny stuff.
Haha, they're joking about sex things. That's what you thought when you were a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you like watch it, you're like, oh, that's really funny now.
yeah.
We get it.
And I'm not gonna lie too. I watched Golden Girls too, and that shit is hilarious because it's like, oh, dude, there's some like horny older women, in their 60s, like just in Florida, just trying to make it, and each one has a story. Like one had, a husband die. One had, actually, two had their husband die, and then Dorothy's husband was just an asshole and like left her. But yeah, funny ass sitcoms, and then yeah, like you said, go back and watch some of those on, and that's why I keep Hulu around too, because yeah, you're right, they got all those classics up there.
Yep. So pivoting to remember what I was talking to you about, Jason,
Hmm?
with the gaming historian? Did you get a chance? Did you guys both? I don't know if I both told you this, but the gaming historian on YouTube, I
Hmm.
like his stuff, the way he produces it, and he did one
Yeah.
on Super Mario World. I just loved it. It was like an hour long. It was
Hmm.
really good.
I did watch it, and yes,
Yeah.
it was very good. I mean, like it was a great deep dive into like all the stuff that was making that they that Miyamoto and crew put into making the game, and it was very interesting to hear them talk about like how the game evolved, like from the overworld map, which was like supposed to be just like Mario 3, but just nicer, but also
Yeah.
and also like all the iterations that Yoshi went through too. But
So
it was I think that the really interesting part about it was like it's also a story of Nintendo's transition to the 16-bit era too.
it was. Here's the funny thing. So they were talking. He was talking in that, and maybe Myron and Jason, you remember or don't remember this, but he was talking about how like Super Mario World had already been released, and then like in Japan, but it hadn't made it over here yet. I remember some of this hype actually.
I,
Mm.
I I do too.
And I was like, and like people were like, yeah, they got that over there, And I don't remember like there was, and I forget the name of the magazine he talked about. Not, it wasn't Nintendo Power.
There's
It was
EGM.
EGM. That's it. Electronic Gaming Monthly, right? And that's what it was called, right? So he,
Mhm.
he was talking about how like they were already like, they already had screenshots. And remember when gaming magazines were like that? Like, and you just, oh crap.
So
Like,
so
When
I
they
used to
actually
go into the
mattered, yeah.
bookstores and I
yeah.
used to look through all the gaming magazines and go, oh my gosh, look at this stuff. Like I didn't read them.
So
I didn't buy them. I just flipped through them at the bookstore. Anyway, but yeah, that was one of those things, right? So,
yeah. So actually, I actually have a Nintendo Power because I know that image. If I think we're lining up here correctly, I actually do have a Nintendo Power where they actually had screenshots of that Super Mario World on
mhm,
Super Famicom, and it looked totally different than what we got. And I remember, like, I still have this magazine to this day because I remember when I moved to Okinawa, I was like, oh, dude, I gotta play this game. And the first time I got to play it was actually at this mall down in Okinawa called Hanby Town,
mm,
and they had that. I think it was a Panasonic. It was a big TV with a built-in slot for the Super Famicom games, and then controller ports at the bottom where the power, volume, and all that were. And that's where I played Super Mario World for the first time, and it was like the version that we got.
mm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I remember that original like imagery. I'm like, oh man, like it looked a little bit. I don't want to say more vibrant, but like
It was definitely less polished.
yeah, it was like less.
I saw a
Yeah.
few of the screenshots that he had in that magazine. Not that I remember it clearly. I might have seen it when I was a kid, but wow, like so the thing that this little mini documentary kind of showed me was some of the like refinement and like and the work that they put into it. And I think he goes on to say like it's one of the best Mario games like ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Even though if it wasn't quite like as well regarded in its time as it was today.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really?
Well,
Yeah, that's one of the things that he goes on about how like there was basically it's like everyone like really liked it, but there's also this feeling that it's just kind of like, the same kind of Mario stuff we've been doing, just like the whole run to the it's like run to the run to the right and stomp on Koopas and all. But I guess it's just like they're kind of it's like that whole jump from like the 8 to 16-bit era. I mean, like you're still doing like the same kind of stuff. It's not like it's evolution, not revolution. That was the
yep.
thing that he said right there.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta watch that. I didn't know he was still he had new material. But
Definitely
yeah,
watch it.
yeah. I
Definitely
mean,
watch it.
I as a kid, anything I was at that age, like, man, anything Mario that came out, I loved it, and I think I get it, I guess, because I do go back and play Mario World, and I love that game, but I will always gravitate towards Super Mario Brothers 3. Like that's kind of like my Mario I can play like
Mm,
all the damn time. Uh,
yeah.
and to me that's still regarded as one of my favorites. I don't know if it's because of the wizard, But yeah, it's a dope ass game. But
So one of the things they mentioned in that documentary is they were kind of afraid of the American market may have
hmm
thought it was a little too soon to release the Super Famicom slash Super Nintendo, right?
hmm
So, and I remember my friends having it. I didn't have it at first because my parents were on some of those. They were like, "You got plenty of
yeah.
games. You don't need games. We got you plenty of games." So so yeah, he does highlight that in there. And like I said, I'm not going to give it all away or anything like that, but some of the things that came through, I was like, hey, you know what? I kind of remember experiencing this. So that's what I thought was kind of cool about it. So um, yeah, it's good stuff, man. Real good stuff.
Yeah, I gotta watch that
Uh,
this weekend.
yeah, definitely. Um,
Oh yeah.
so
So did you guys pick
mhm,
up last issue of the Last Ronin yet?
I did.
I have to pick it up tomorrow. It's still sitting down there. So
Okay. So
um,
Myron, did you read it?
Nah, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
when's the volume coming out?
July.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get the volume, and then you're gonna read it and then
Yeah.
we can
Hopefully
talk
the
about
two
it.
of you have read it by then as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we'll read
I
it.
think we'll all be caught up on it, so we'll be good,
hmm
right? So yeah, although I do want to, I'll talk about that volume later
Yeah.
with
And then I guess we can also see about doing like, the Transformers answer to that, like to that miniseries too.
Refresh my memory on that one.
So there's IDW is publishing a Transformers series called The Last Bot, which
Oh,
apparently it sounds like it's like about the last Transformer at the end of the universe.
Oh wow. Because are they losing the license for publishing Transformer comics after
They
this?
are. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
losing that in GI Joe,
Mm,
and so I guess the assumption here is that this isn't going to fall prey to the same kind of delays that the last Ronin went through, and that they are going to get all 5 issues out of this miniseries before the end of the year, well, along with the trade paperback or collect edition, whatever they're going to do it in.
hmm
But yeah, it's like once this is done, it's going to be kind of like I imagine it's kind of a blink and you miss it type sales window for this thing. But
Yeah.
there's been no announcement about where the licenses for GI Joe and Transformers are going to wind up. I've heard rumors though that
Marvel.
Robert Kirkman's Skybound imprint might be getting Transformers though.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I think at this point, like Kirkman's kind of like saying, "Hey, if I can, be the guy, like running the, it's like I'm running the show here, then yeah, working on someone else's properties would actually be pretty cool again."
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's gonna
It's
be awesome
kind
that that
of
happens.
yeah, that would be
Yeah,
interesting. I'd be interested to see what they do with it. Um, and I know that the IDW has had quite a few. I mean, it's loyal fan base, but yeah, this should be interesting. Although there's still part of me that wants to go back. I know I have not read any of them, but you know, I really want to kind of do that eventually. It's on my list. Everything's on my list.
what the IDW Transformers.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, well, all I can say is I feel that when you do want to do it, it'll be a lot easier to convince me to come along. Um, once it's like once you've started doing the reading.
Yeah. Cool. So what else
Yeah.
y'all got? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing else.
Uh,
Fun stuff. People want to listen to anything that you've seen. Or let's see here. No, I don't have any sub. I don't have anything on Strange New World. So I mean, um, so
There's Moon Knight.
essentially, the jury's still out on that. I haven't seen any Moon Knight. Although that I do plan on watching that. So
yeah, Moon Knight. Moon Knight was a great show. I love that series.
okay.
And then I was also I'm think I'm waiting for it to finish, and then I'm just gonna rewatch it. I was watching Halo, and that has its ups and downs. Uh,
Yep,
um,
the internet apparently lost its shit this week about over this week's episode
what about Master Chief losing his virginity?
while his mom watched.
Oh yeah, I didn't read that part, but
That's not awkward at all. Like,
awkward, awkward. Uh,
Someone clearly wasn't thinking through the implications of this, but well, it's like now it's like we've got everyone's talking about it, just probably not for the reasons that the people at Paramount Plus were hoping they would be.
wow. But after Moon Knight, I've just been mostly watching movies, like catching up on movies to kind of, the quick watches. Just watch for like hour and a half, 2 hours. So you guys heard my rant earlier about Moonfall. That very, very, very entertaining movie, but it does suck. Yeah, I like the
Is it
without.
objectively good? No. Entertaining? Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna have a fun ride if you liked Independence Day or Geostorm. You're in for those type of rides.
I don't know. I'd
so,
say Independence Day is more of a legitimately entertaining brand of disaster porn than Geostorm was or Moonfall. I mean,
so,
for that better for that since we were talking about it earlier, I mean, like the day after tomorrow. I mean, that was definitely a better film than Moonfall or Geostorm. Seeing
Oh,
as
for
someone who's seen
sure.
both of them.
Oh, for sure. What were you gonna
so
say,
Roland.
John?
No, I was gonna say Roland Emmerich made a movie that I do like. You know what it's called? I mean,
No.
it's not a disaster film. Stargate.
Oh, Stargate.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his
I
film.
didn't.
That's like a. It's. I would say it's an older film of his. You know,
That was like '94. Yeah, I didn't know
it's
he. I didn't know he did that.
James Spader is in it.
Kurt
Yeah, I love
Russell.
Kurt
Kurt
Russell.
Russell. Yeah,
I love that
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
In fact, I will tell you, being a Stargate fan, that um, he wanted to make another movie, right? Um, or because to follow up on it or something like that, or to reboot it. But he ran into a problem. So he wasn't involved with the TV series at all. So the television series kind of built like its own like worlds and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely had its fan base, and
Hmm.
had like essentially, I think it was essentially like one, two, three television series, and spun off like like made for video or TV movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's how this all slices up. So all that was produced by MGM. And then they finally canceled the series, and they tried to reboot a couple like little web things and everything else. And then he wanted to build his own movie thing, but it never took off. And I don't know if Roland just dropped the idea altogether, which might have been, he just probably couldn't figure out a way to kill a whole bunch of people in it. Um, I mean, like, how do I kill massive amounts of people in a disaster? Ah, screw it.
It
Like,
won't work.
it probably is not. It won't work anymore. Dang it! So because you guys ruined it with the TV series. So, that's been pretty much out. But they have been talking about, like, so. As you know, Amazon bought the MGM, like, I guess all of
Hmm.
MGM, everything that they own.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They bought
They see
everything
where this is
MGM.
going.
So they essentially, by the way, that means they own all of James Bond. By the way,
Yep.
so that's all theirs too. So in this, they've been talking with the creators about making another Stargate series for streaming only. Which, if they do that, I would be surprised. The only thing that I would like to see is a continuation of the one thing that they kind of it's called Stargate Universe, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like Stargate meets like Battlestar Galactica in a like the Ron Moore series, where there was the whole like story that pulled through. It was like a story. It's just the whole thing. It was just like a drama kind of that went through 2 seasons. the thing is they knew they were going to cancel it, and so like literally the last episode. Let me give you a spoiler here. The last episode, if you haven't seen it, it's like they all go into stasis, and then it's just Eli piloting, like watching over the ship as they traverse this area of space where there's basically nothing. Like I'm like, okay, so you left the series just hanging then?
Wow.
And so, like, were you planning on picking it up? Because you could essentially do that. And I think some people, I mean, I would personally like to see it. But here's my other thing about it is like, I don't know. Maybe I don't. Like, I'll see. If they decide to, if Amazon decides to fund a new series, which they can do, you know.
Smart money is on them just doing like if they do more Stargate, it's going to be some kind of reboot.
Yeah, if they do a reboot, then that would be a thing too. But then now you have literally like two different. It's almost like your fan base isn't like the same fan base that did the Roland Emmerich movie. It's almost the same, but not really. So I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know if it'll actually be all that successful. That's coming from someone who would like to see more Stargate, but I'm just kind of like, all right, I don't know. It's been years, and it's kind of dilapidated, I guess. I don't know. If they could do it.
So I guess like
I just
what
I just don't
what
know
you
if they're going to make anyone happy by doing it. You know what I mean?
Not unless they get Dennis Villanueva to direct it.
Hmm.
so I guess like the
Uh,
smart thing to do would be to like make like a third concluding season of the universe, and then if that gets the fan base riled up again, then maybe then do the reboot or some kind of like or like do new stuff from there.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's like I know Amazon's still hunting for its big Game of Thrones type thing. So who
Well,
knows what it's going to be or if they'll even get to that point. I mean, like
It's.
Lord of the
I don't think it's going to
Rings.
be Stargate. I'll just say that right off the top. I'm like, it's not going to be Stargate.
but
But what will it be?
they're gonna try to throw so much stuff at the wall to get to that point. So maybe like they'll just
Mhm.
pick Stargate up and throw it at the wall at some point.
Uh, and that's very true. That's very true. Yeah. That's a really good point. So
I think they're hoping for this Lord of the Rings to be that, but I still don't have warm and fuzzies about it.
Not even with the fact that the Dwarven women are gonna have beards here.
No, I don't know.
uh,
I'm still gonna watch it and give it a chance, but it's
I,
just like I'm not hyped.
I was so surprised to learn that was actually a thing, and Aragorn wasn't joking about it.
Yeah, so we'll see how we'll see how the details appease the diehard fans, dude. But I mean, I got Prime for the shipping anyway. The television and movies are a plus, but yeah, I'm still gonna watch it. I think I'll be entertained by it. I just hope it's good because the Peter Jackson versions are like that's a tough bar to climb.
Hmm.
But
yeah.
there was a show. They had some pretty good shows. I mean, there was a show that I'm still waiting for a season 2 for on there called Carnival Row with uh Legolas Orlando Bloom and I can't think of her name, but she played in that like movie Valerian and the blah blah blah
Oh yeah, dang, it's like I
Empire.
know it's like what Valerian is like City of Tomorrow or
Yeah, that movie was like man anyway. But you're right, Valerian in the city of like Space Gold or Tomorrow or Underwater. I forgot, but
Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets.
thank you. Yep, and I love it visually because it's directed by the guy who did Fifth Element. But
Oh,
anyway,
Cara Delevingne, or
yep.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yep. So yeah, she's cute, but yeah, it starred those two, and it was a good like uh fantasy. Like it's more fantasy based, taking place in like a fake, I guess 19th century style setting, and magical creatures are kind of looked upon uh looked down upon by humans. So there's a lot of like fantasy
Fantasy race.
fantasy racism towards elves and minotaurs and whatever. and like the fantasy creatures like live in, a ghetto and treated badly, whatever. But
Hmm.
it was a really good concept, really good show, and really good visuals. And I've been dying for a season two for like 2 years. But I think the pandemic obviously slowed that down. But I still haven't heard news like on when this is coming back because I thought it had some good chops. And I was like, okay, Amazon's got a good one. They got a good one here. And then I can't think of any other good Amazon originals. Like they don't seem to stick on my mind like Disney Plus or Netflix or anything like that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to watch Man in the High Tower, but I have not
I forgot
really.
about that show.
Yeah, yeah,
Ryan used to rave about that all the time.
yeah. I think it's based off of Philip K. Dick stuff,
Yep,
right? That's yeah. So
it is.
I mean, good resume there. So I mean, but yeah, I just it's like one of the things that's like okay on my list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just have not. It's like, but not high on my list. So science fiction gets a little bit more. Although well, it has some science fiction elements in it, maybe. So anyway, um,
R-
yeah, that's. I
I.
think that's about it. But like you, Myron, like I got it for the shipping, but there's a lot of other benefits I have. Like
Mm-hmm.
I probably give way too much money to Amazon on things besides shipping. I mean, like I buy things from them and I have an Audible subscription, so I get
Mm-hmm.
like audiobooks and all that other stuff. And so yeah, it's kind of like there's a lot of things. Um, and their streaming video, well, they used to have Star Trek streaming, but I kind of stopped watching it. I guess everyone else did too, because I guess now it's all through Paramount Plus. They don't stream it
Yep.
anymore. But
Well, doesn't.
one thing I noticed though, when I was watching the Star Trek: The Next Generation that was streaming on there,
Mm-hmm.
the episodes were cut a little bit. They were trimmed. So what do I mean by that? Like they're edited, and like they edited certain things out because I was looking for things, and I was like, wait a second, that's missing that scene,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to double check, and I was like, yep, they definitely cut that out. So the versions that they were putting on Amazon Prime for free streaming from Star Trek: The Next Generation, at the very least, they were cutting the episodes. They didn't seem like syndication cuts. They might have been syndication cuts. So you know what I mean by that? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, I think the best example for you on this is Alf.
Mm-hmm.
Alf's DVDs, I believe, are the syndication cuts, if I'm not mistaken. They're not actually the full episodes. They are. I mean, they are full episodes, but they are like
Yeah. They're not.
they
They're.
cut a little bit here and a little bit there. So,
Mm-hmm.
which to me is a little bit of a cheat, but you still get. I think you don't get the full Alf. You get like 99% of Alf, right?
Well, you
So,
get what they have to offer because I mean a lot of that stuff is
mhm,
becoming lost to time.
too
But
true.
I do notice what you're talking about on some of the DVDs I have where like I can't no, it wasn't Married with Children. It's one of these shows that I have where like it'll fade. I think it's the Facts of Life where it'll fade to quote unquote commercial and then kind of come back, like fade back in. But then like you said, it's the syndication cuts because it's like oh here's where they inserted the commercial or whatnot, and you don't see that full scene.
Yep,
Hmm.
exactly. Which when I say syndication cuts, it's like this seems like an archaic concept anyway. So for the
Yeah.
youngins out there, the boomers are going to talk. So basically, when they're broadcast on television, let's say, and they have commercial breaks in them, the syndication cuts are there so they can squeeze a few minutes of commercials in there. So
Yep.
just get a little bit extra money out of it. And also give you an incentive to go and buy the Blu-ray or buy the streaming version of it, right? So
Hmm.
it's a scam, everyone. It's a scam. I'm telling you right now. It's a scam.
But unfortunately, due to like licensing rights or some other legal mumbo jumbo going on in the background, some of these shows start becoming a little bit more hard to find or can never be re-released ever again or something like that. Like for instance, I ordered this clean bootleg copy of Captain N the Game Master because they did release that officially on DVD way back in the day, and like mid 2000s, and I was like, oh, I'll get it one day, I'll get it one day, I'll get it one day, and I never did, and now it's going for astronomical amounts of money, and you'll never see. I mean, I don't want to say never, but I mean, you just never know when you're going to see that re-released again. So with some of these shows where like, yeah, it might not have like, um, it might not be the full episode and it has these syndicate cuts, or it might be missing an episode or two because they couldn't get the license for a cameo appearance or song they had in that episode, and you kind of don't get the full experience. But at the same time, it's like this might be the only way I can get this experience. So I try to find and buy some of those like rare shows. Like I got, the Cosby Show, Fresh Prince. I really want to finish out my Family Matters collection. I mean, some of that stuff is on streaming, but there was a time where that stuff was like hard, you know, to find on streaming, like Night Court. I've been wanting to watch Night Court for like a minute, and all I got is like a DVD with like 4 episodes on it. And to buy the whole, they never release like a complete set. They're just individual DVD volumes making up the series, but it's like astronomical amounts of money. So I'm hoping one day they'll release like Night Court 40th anniversary series collection, whatever.
Yeah, that would be. I would like it. One of the things that I noticed is like, oh, what was it? Like, things are released on DVD, but like on Blu-ray, I should say. But they're also like released in standard definition. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So, and in some cases, I'm like, all right, that's fine. Some things I want to see remastered though, and then other ones are difficult. And by the way, the ones that are difficult are things that actually have old CG in them. That's a problem, by the way.
Mm,
Like because old CG that gets remastered looks worse.
yes.
It's kind of an issue.
Like
So they would either
Independence
have to
Day.
redo it or, yeah, they would have to fix it again to try to do to try to like. I don't know how. See, I don't have like the prequel trilogy on Blu-ray. I don't know how that looks on like a 4K TV. Like, I don't know
Horrible.
if they fixed it. Yeah, I figured it did. Like, I know there's lots of scenes in there that are, that are CG, or at least the backgrounds are CG.
It looks like a Hasbro playset, like a shiny brand new Hasbro playset, and the figures
hmm
are real.
hmm And kind of like even pivoting a little bit off of that, one thing I noticed about like the Bad Batch um, as a computer animated series is that it looks really good. It might look better than the movies I was just talking about.
Hmm.
like that's how far we've come. It's been because those
Mm-hmm.
movies released like what 22 years ago, 20 years ago. A lot of
Just a,
CG back then is primitive, man.
just about
Like,
like,
yeah,
yeah, because I think
like that.
what Phantom Menace came out in '99. Episode 2 came out in 2002, and that's the one I criticized the most of it's being looking like a playset. And then episode 3 came out in 2005. And to your point, John, too, like I've been wanting to go back and rewatch some shows, rewatch some old series that I love. One of them
Mhm,
being Battlestar Galactica, and
mhm,
I think the last time I watched it, like a little tipsy, and I was like, yeah, this I'm not in the mindset or visual mindset to watch these Cylons, dude. They look weird to me. I'm gonna move on to something else. And
yeah.
eventually I want to go back, but it's like I don't want to say they look bad or like fake, but it's just like you said, we've come so far along with CG, especially like on television, to where like certain films or television series you watch like just looks super dated. Um, Before Dune came out in theaters, the new one, I have the one that came out, the sci-fi miniseries, and I used to love that miniseries, and now it's hard for me to watch.
Mhm. Yeah, I could see that.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. It's kind of an interesting dilemma, but it is the way it is. And by the way, Ron Moore understood some of this back then. He's like, and one of the because he used to listen to the podcast and all this other extraneous bullshit material that came with like the Blu-rays before they were even on the Blu-rays. And the one thing he was saying is like, hey, do you see? Yeah, we use CG here, but we're trying to throw you off by doing the shaky cam thing. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
like, oh, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will tell you that I look at it and there's some scenes where I can catch it and I'm like, yeah, it kind of looks CG fake. And then there's other scenes where it kind of just fools the eye just enough to where I'm like, oh, yeah, actually, not bad. Okay, not bad. That's kind of he kind of future proofed it a bit. So
Mm-hmm.
it still looks okay in my opinion, you know. So um, I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole series again just to make sure.
Yeah, I want to because I just remember like that by the end of the series, dude, it was just like your mind was just blown. I mean, it was a mind blowing ride the whole time, but then it's like the finale and the way it ended, it like almost like the Matrix, like it almost made you question your reality a little bit, and I was like, that's a very clever story.
Yeah, it is. I particularly like it. It's very cool. And good sci-fi actually. You know, and one where it has a satisfying ending. I'd have to say that
Yeah.
generally I'm pleased
Hmm.
with a lot of the character arcs
Hmm.
and with like the way that the whole thing rolled. It was just like, wow, it's good, man. It's real good. If I could tip you, I would. Tip. I bought the set. That's all I can do.
Same, same here.
Yeah.
I actually saw it on Amazon not too long ago for like a pretty, pretty reasonable cheap price. I remember paying like I think $200 for that when it came out, around that,
Hmm.
around that. But now it's like I don't know, it was like cheap, like 50, $60.
Yeah.
I was like,
No,
I was
that's
like,
not bad then. You know, I
no,
mean,
no,
hey,
no, like really
that's
good.
not bad at all. Yeah.
But I don't regret the price I paid because I plowed through that entire series and I'm like, man, this is one of the greats.
Yes, it is. Oh yeah. What else? Anything else, guys?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, nothing really. About to go see Doctor Strange again tomorrow.
I still
Uh,
got to see it my first time, but yeah.
yeah, it's a good movie. Go catch it with Steve, Marlena, and Quincy. Plus, yeah, I wanted to definitely see it again.
And you got to let us know what you think about that Wolverine cameo, man, because like we were just not expecting that,
I
not at
know, dude.
all.
I know, dude. I shouldn't have left the theater early because I heard I missed it. But but there's that, and then uh, I think after we're done tonight, I'm going to attempt to watch this Firestarter remake.
Well,
Well, there you
based on
go.
what I've heard about it, it's like let us. I'll be interested in knowing your opinion because I don't. This is not something I would go to Steve with, or just it's like or just watch in general from what I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. That's another subscription I subscribe to. So
Ah, okay.
I'm not going to the theater to see it.
The only thing you'll lose is time.
Exactly. So otherwise I'd be like, yeah, that's definitely wait for Netflix or something. But I mean, I did like the original, but just kind of want to see how they do this. But yeah, other than that, man. Oh, that new Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie is supposed to be coming out soon.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see the commercial for that? It's supposed to come out on Disney Plus.
No, but I'll watch it. I'm a
Oh my
fan.
goodness, dude! Like it looks. Watch a trailer when you're done. It looks weird but cool, and it's
Okay.
supposed to be like, don't think of Rescue Rangers like how we know them per se. Like
Okay.
This is Chip and Dale like 30 years later after Rescue Rangers and what they're doing today, and they don't talk anymore, and Dale gets like the CG surgery and becomes more shinier. Like it's just and and it seems to involve not just the Rescue Rangers but the entire um Disney afternoon um like series, like, and I'm talking like Little Mermaid 2 and Aladdin, not just like,
Hmm.
DuckTales and Tailspin and shit. Like it's got like all the Disney based television series characters in there. So that's supposed to stream on Disney Plus this month. I thought it was this weekend or maybe next weekend.
Huh. Well, I guess that's something I'll have to look out for. Then I'll have to give you an opinion on it as well, since
Hmm.
it's something that yeah, I'll let you know what I think of it. Oh,
And
that's a
I
good
think
tip.
and I think that's about it. There's nothing. Oh, I got that new Wii Sports. Been playing that, so no crazy. No, I shouldn't say not Wii Sports, Switch Sports, but
Yeah, close
there's
enough. It's the
nothing.
same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Nothing too much on the horizon as far as like what's coming out in theaters. I think Doctor Strange was that biggie one. Top Gun is about to come out, but I'll wait for that. And I think next for me is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
I am honestly amazed at the advanced reviews that Top Gun has been getting, because I mean, it's like a 30 years later sequel. I mean, they're basically
Hmm.
it's like the reviews for this have just been like gushing about it, how it's like basically like it's everything like about the original movie, only more so.
Hmm.
I mean, and problem for me is like as good as these reviews have been, I didn't really like the original movie, so it's kind of like, man, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why it's like I'm interested, but not like $15 to the theater interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hmm.
That's a great opinion, man. I'm gonna
Yeah.
use that line. Yeah, it's like not that sold on
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
So,
But hey, Tom Cruise
Oh,
does
but hey,
some phenomenal
Downton
movies
Abbey, New Era opens next week.
in
Eh?
theaters. Nah, and see, man, I saw that. I saw, not to be a hater, I think, people love their shows, and I understand they love that show. But when I saw a trailer for that in the movie, I'm like, dude, why are they making a movie out of this? Like, is it really that dope to justify, 2 hour, you know, film
Well,
about it? And I'm
the
sure there's
previous movie made bank, so
and I'm sure there's fans out there that are like, hey, shut up, shut up. But still, I mean, I just, I'd never seen it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, could be cool. Never seen it. Don't really care to see it. It just reminds me of like, what if they made Dynasty the movie or Falcon Crest the movie? Dating
well,
myself.
it's like you wait long enough,
there
and
you go.
Yeah.
Well, there's some truth to this. Actually, if you
And
wait long enough, someone's gonna make a movie about it.
yeah.
that
Yep.
is true.
Oh, but in the nearer future, though, let's see, there's Jurassic World,
Yes.
June 10th,
I forgot. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
and weekend after that is Lightyear.
You know,
Hmm.
I I do want to see that. That seems interesting, but I'm like, do I really want to go to the theater to see it when I've been so spoiled of getting Pixar movies at home? Um,
Well, you're not
like,
going to get this at home, so
I I know. At this point, I'm like, I kind of want to wait till just comes home. It'll be home in like 3 months, 3 months. So,
Patience will pay
mhm.
but
off.
it does look pretty, dude. I mean, it looks awesome, and it's dope to see. Buzz Lightyear reimagined, like in a as a realistic person, seeing who the toy was based off of. But I love Toy Story to death, but haven't we had enough? Haven't we had enough references and
Yes.
stuff?
Well, I yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you guys are saying, but at the same time, it's like Pixar, like really hasn't really disappointed me, so I'm willing to go to the theater to see what they got to offer this time.
And you know what? That's a true statement too. That they don't disappoint. They're not like DreamWorks. So
Hmm.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we now? So, I guess streaming,
yeah, yeah.
streaming, streaming. I'll put it on my list, but it's a real list, everyone, and things do get watched that are put on my list. However, yeah, sometimes things don't fall in it. And then it doesn't hurt to, get a few reviews in there. Someone
Hmm.
says, wow, pretty amazing stuff, or so so, or it's a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So, something like that, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And as for me, yeah, I'm just going to be playing around with these Raspberry Pis I was talking about earlier. So, I've got that. And let's see here. Huh.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna put my pants back on my head and dive back into Rogue Legacy 2 because that's how I roll.
There you go. Well, up with that, I think we're just going to call it. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining, or thanks for listening to us bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rando stuff. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Have a good weekend, kiddies.
Night, everyone.